The word of Yahweh was addressed to Jonah son of Amittai. He said,
Up, Jonah, go to Nineveh, the great city, and proclaim to them that their wickedness has forced itself upon me.
Jonah set about running away from the Lord, and going to Tarshish. He went down to Joppa and found a ship bound for Tarshish. He paid his fare and boarded it, to go with them to Tarshish, to get away from the Lord. But Yahweh threw a hurricane at the sea, and there was such a great storm at sea, that the ship threatened to break up. The sailors took fright, and each of them called on his own god. And, to lighten the ship they threw the cargo overboard. Jonah, however, had gone below, had lain down in the hold and was fast asleep. The boatswain went up to him to urge him to pray. Then after, they drew lots to find out who was to blame. And interestingly, in no guessing game, the lot pointed to Jonah. So they asked him who he was, and he replied,
I am a Hebrew, and I worship the Lord, God of heaven, who made both sea and dry land.
What are we to do with you to make the sea calm down for us? For the sea is growing rougher and rougher.
Take me and throw me into the sea, and then it will calm down for you. I know it is my fault that this great storm has struck you.
So they took hold of Jonah, and threw him into the sea, and then the sea stopped raging. Now God ordained that a great fish should swallow Jonah, and Jonah remained in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. From the belly of the fish, Jonah prayed earnestly to his God. The Lord heard his prayers, and ordered the fish to spit him out, onto the shore. The word of the Lord was addressed to Jonah a second time. God said,
Up, Jonah, go to Nineveh, the great city, and preach to it as I shall tell you.
Jonah set out, and went to Nineveh in obedience to the word of the Lord. Now Nineveh was a city great beyond compare. To cross it took 3 days. Jonah began by going a day's journey into the city and then proclaimed,
40 days more, and Nineveh will be overthrown. Only 40 days more.
And the people of Nineveh believed God's message through Jonah. They proclaimed a fast and put on sackcloth, from the greatest to the least. Even their king rose from his throne, took off his robe, put on sackcloth and sat down in ashes. No person or animal ate or drank anything. They were thinking, who knows, perhaps God will change his mind and renounce his burning wrath, that they shall not perish. God saw their efforts to renounce their evil ways, and God relented about the disaster which he had threatened to bring on them. And they were not destroyed. This made Jonah very indignant. He fell into a rage. Jonah had left the city and sat down to the east of the city, where he made himself a shelter and sat under it in the shade, to see what would happen to the city. He begged God to take his life, for he felt he might as well be dead as go on living. God then ordained that a castor oil plant should grow up over Jonah, to give shade for his head and soothe his ill humor. And Jonah was pleased about the shade of the castor oil plant. But at dawn the next day, God ordained that a worm should attack the castor oil plant, and it withered. Next, when the sun rose, God ordained that there should be a scorching east wind. And the sun beat down so hard on Jonah's head that he was overcome. So, he begged for death. Then God replied, saying,
Jonah, Jonah, are you right to be angry about the castor oil plant? See, you are concerned for the castor oil plant which has not cost you any effort, and which you did not grow, which came up in a night, and has perished and withered in a night. So, why should I not be concerned for Nineveh, the great city, in which there are more than 120,000 people, who cannot tell their right hand from their left, to say nothing of all the animals?